ערב הקטסטרופה ההומניטרית.
A split has been festering in Israel's war cabinet, and now it has burst out into the open. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has challenged the Prime Minister Netanyahu to come up with a post-war plan for Gaza. Listen to this.
Since October, I've been raising this issue consistently in the cabinet and have received no response. The end of the military campaign must come together with political action. The day after Hamas will only be achieved with Palestinian entities taking control of Gaza, accomplished by international actors, establishing a governing alternative to Hamas rule. This, above all, is in interest of the state of Israel.
You heard that. A frustrated Gallant is complaining that he has been consistently raising this issue, but there has been no resolution. Gallant also made it clear that he will not permit any solution where Israeli military is deployed in Gaza. Listen to this now.
Unfortunately, this issue was not raised for debate, and worse, an alternative was not raised in its replacement. Indecision is in essence a decision. This leads to a dangerous course, which promotes the idea of Israeli military and civilian governance in Gaza. This is a negative and dangerous option for the state of Israel, strategically, militarily, and from a security standpoint.
Indecision is a decision. Those are Gallant's words. And his comments were immediately backed by his fellow minister Benny Gantz. Gantz said that Gallant had only spoken the truth, and with that, the Israeli leadership has plunged into a highly public row. How is Bibi taking this, you ask? Not well. He is furious. He is pushing back. Listen to what he said.
הקטסטרופה ההומניטרית שדיברו עליה לא התממשה, היא גם לא תתממש.
Eliminating Hamas is an essential step in order to ensure that on the day after, there will be no element in Gaza that can threaten us. Until it is clear that Hamas does not control Gaza militarily, nobody will be prepared to take upon himself the civil management of Gaza out of fear for their lives. Therefore, all the talk about the day after, while Hamas remains intact, will remain mere words, devoid of content. Contrary to what is being claimed, for months we have been engaged in various efforts to resolve this complex problem. Some of the efforts are covert, and it is good that this is so. This is one of the objectives of the war that we have defined, and we are determined to achieve it as well.
You see, it's a war of words. Gallant says his concerns have not been addressed, but Netanyahu has countered him, claiming that he has been trying to find a solution for months. If that's the case, why hasn't he come up with a plan yet? For days, the Biden administration has been pressuring Israel to plan for post-war Gaza. But Netanyahu has delivered his response. Not so fast. You just heard it for yourself. He has argued that it would be just chatter while Hamas remains intact. Netanyahu does not seem to be listening to Biden's officials. What would this lead to? While US support for Israel seems ironclad, will it end up abandoning Netanyahu? Because the other ministers seem to be more than happy to do America's bidding. The leaders are split on the fate of this war, and the split is getting wider day after day, by the way. Some want to prioritize the return of hostages. Others, like Netanyahu, want to press on with total annihilation of Hamas. They are not ready to accept the ceasefire deal brokered by Qatar and Egypt. Gallant's comments have only added fuel to the row. The Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, has in fact called for Gallant to be removed. He said that Gallant failed on October 7 and continues to fail even now. And such a defense minister must be replaced in order to achieve the war goals. But can Netanyahu really afford to do that? You see, the last time he fired Gallant, it did not go down well with Israelis. There were protests, there was agitation to the extent that Netanyahu had to go back on his decision. So what gives? The government seems too occupied with its own conflicts. How will it handle what's happening outside? Hamas has its own set of demands. It says a post-war plan that does not include the group will be opposed. It wants to be involved in deciding post-war rule in Gaza along with other Palestinian factions. But all of that is a discussion for later. The Israeli establishment needs to settle its internal issues first. Aviation industry in the year 2024 is a mixed bag of emotions. Despite rampant production issues surrounding Boeing and delivery delays, the global airline industry is witnessing a strong rebound in 2024. Emirates, a major Dubai-based carrier, is celebrating record profits of $5.1 billion for their fiscal year. This impressive performance is being shared with their employees through a generous 20-week bonus payout. This comes on the heels of a 10% workforce increase. Singapore Airlines has also announced a huge bonus, up to 8 months of salary last year. Backed by a robust demand for air travel, the airline's total value, the total revenue, reached $19 billion. Their operating profit also hit a record high of $2.7 billion. While airlines are experiencing a surge in passenger traffic, a looming challenge threatens to disrupt this momentum. Production issues at Boeing and Airbus have resulted in a significant aircraft shortage. And this has airlines grappling with a situation where travel demand is projected to exceed the pre-pandemic levels, yet there are fewer airplanes available. For instance, a projected 271 million passengers are expected to travel this summer in the United States alone, representing a 6.3% increase. This enthusiasm for travel is countered by the grounding of 650 Airbus A320neo jets for engine inspections. And to cope with this shortage, airlines are resorting to the leasing market, driving lease rates for new aircraft to record highs. Despite the shortage, airlines are optimistic about the 2024 summer travel season. And this optimism is fueled by a global travel projection of 4.7 billion passengers. However, the rising inflation may dampen some traveler enthusiasm, with a year-on-year decrease in passenger fares and month-on-month fare increases. Airlines are navigating a delicate balance between managing costs associated with the aircraft shortage and increased leasing rates while capitalizing on the high demand for travel. Indigo, India's largest airline, exemplifies this balancing act. After returning to profitability, they announced a bonus for their employees. Bonuses become even more crucial in today's environment, after all, with the news of pilot strikes in Vistara and Air India Express highlighting these growing employee concerns. Overall, the news of bonuses across airlines is a happy moment in an otherwise lagging aviation industry. Soaring profits and strong travel demand are countered by aircraft shortages and rising inflation. How airlines navigate these challenges will be key to determining the long-term success of the post-pandemic recovery. Also, bonuses every once in a while, especially when profits soar, become an important tactic to keep the employees happy and the airline functioning. Do you know what is the world's most valuable liquor brand? It is 53% alcohol, tastes like firewater, and is the national liquor of China. It's called Motai. A single bottle can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Let me tell you a bit more about this drink. It is a type of baijiu. The name itself means white alcohol or white liquor. Typically, it is made from sorghum grains and water. Some variants, in fact, also use rice or other grains. How do people drink Motai? In tiny little baijiu glasses. Each of them measures only about 5 to 6 milliliters and looks like a miniature wine glass. Now, the reason Motai is drunk from such glasses is because it is much stronger than other spirits. The spirit is rooted deep in Chinese history. It's come to be known as the drink of diplomacy. It's the drink of choice among the Communist Party leaders. It was known as the favorite tipple of Mao Zedong, the founder of Communist China. When US President Nixon visited China in 1972, former Prime Minister Zhou Enlai toasted him with Motai. 2 years later, when the Secretary of State Henry Kissinger met Zhou, he said, and I quote, "If we drink enough Motai, we can solve anything." And just like that, Motai has been part of many historic moments in China. Today, it is the largest beverage company in the world by market value. It is worth a whopping $295 billion. Just for context, it's more than double the market cap of Budweiser's parent company and more than 10 times that of Jack Daniels. Motai is not just a drink anymore, it has become a status symbol. It is served at high-profile meetings, political banquets, weddings. President Xi Jinping has also been seen sipping this very spirit. In fact, Sotheby even hosted a Motai-themed auction. Such is its fame that it has become a valuable investment option. Any fluctuation in Motai's share prices could affect the entire Chinese equity market. But here's the catch. While the demand continues to soar high in China for Motai, that is not the case in other parts of the world. In fact, apart from the Chinese diaspora, Motai is still virtually unknown overseas. Almost all, about 97% of its sales, coming from China alone. But considering the population of China, Motai still remains one of the most consumed alcoholic drinks in the world.